and create lasting impact. And today I have my special guest. He's the founder and strategy Y and fintech review, and other than Mr. Tristan Pelloux.
Thanks for having me, Daniel.
Welcome back, Mr. Tristan. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
I'm indeed the founder of FinTech Review and Strategy. Strategy is a strategic advisory firm I started 5 years ago, where I advise businesses from car sizes from very early stage to much more mature businesses about how to execute the strategy, grow, go through some challenges. Um, And when I don't do that, I'm also a professor of strategy and innovation. So I teach, I focus on entrepreneurship a lot. Tomorrow, my students will have to pitch me ideas about businesses and how to be an entrepreneur. So it's a topic that interests me very much.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Tristan. Hoping you will be my regular guest on Entrepreneurship 101. So today, let's talk about what it takes to build a run a company today. Let's start with the core premise. What is that it mean to build a run a company today as compared to, say, a decade ago? What are the new or non-negotiable pressure that define the modern founder's reality?
I think most businesses are digital now, and there's no alternative to it. So if you look back 10 years ago, well, now you do need systems that are interconnected. You need to leverage data in a ways that wasn't before. So you need to be tech savvy. But also, it's very easy now, especially with AI. You can start a business tomorrow, have a website in 5 minutes, have everything set up in 5 minutes. So it's much easier to start a business, but it's never been harder. I would say, because everybody can do it. So you need to be sure about what you're doing. You need to have a very solid business execution because everybody can come up with the same idea and start tomorrow and compete with you. So that's I think is a big difference, and it's only going to accelerate.
Interesting, Mr. Tristan. Many founder launch with a powerful vision, but the day-to-day can become a scramble of survival. How do you maintain that strategic vision and a sense of purpose when you are constantly putting out fires?
Um, yeah, indeed. Everybody has a great idea, a great vision. I meet entrepreneurs all the time that they're going to transform the world, and then they start, and it's much harder, and it's very hard to execute to implement your ideas. I think you need to be very organized and very structured in the way you approach things. Um, the day to day is important, and as you say, putting out fire is important, but you do need that long term vision and keep advancing towards it. Um, and it's to learn to, well, first learn to delegate, learn to stop doing things that are not adding value to your business. Um, it's taking the time to actually plan and and know what you want to do next and what really matters. So taking the time to step back, even if you would rather do things, I think it's important to just pause and think, okay, what am I doing here? Is it really important for my business? Am I delivering value? Am I going in the right direction? Uh, and I know it's easier said than done, but it's important to do it.
Definitely, it's important to do. We often hear about product market fit.
Mm.
But today it feels like founder market culture fit. How do we personally values the operational style of the founder now directly shape the company's identity and viability from day one?
Um, Indeed, I think culture or at least ways of working is important because you do need to match with. Um, I didn't believe too much in that before when I was younger. I was like, well, you just do the job and it just doesn't matter. But now I came to realize that not every management style is for everybody. Not more than the product itself. It's just the people you work with, and you're going to spend a lot of time with them. Uh, so depending on where how you are, if you like to be micromanaged or not, if you like to have much more freedom, that's business culture, and you shape it whether you like it or not. When you run a company, the way you run it and the way you like work to be done will shape the people that will come and work for you. And no, not the people that come and work for you, but the people that come and stay for a long time. And it's it's recognizing what works best for you actually, and being very upfront with people about how you like to do things, uh, so that you have a better fit from the beginning and you keep the right people close to you over time. I think it's very important. Otherwise, you lose time. As you lose time, no one is happy, and then ultimately, no one performs well. And then it's very different. That some people will respond very well to being uh, micromanaged, being um, asked to do things all the time, and some people will not respond well to that at all. So choose carefully. Well, it's more rather than choose carefully, being mindful of what you like and what you don't like, so that you can find the right people.
Mr. Tristan, let's talk about the human architecture, building a team that lasts. Let's talk about our
Mm.
talent. In a distributed, highly competitive landscape, what did it really take to attract and retain mission critical people beyond salary and equity? What is the new currency of commitment?
Um, yes, I think that yeah, of course people want to get paid a decent amount, um, and then there is what you work on, like what is really the company, what is the company really doing? Um, so it's selling that vision about what we're doing as a purpose, and we're actually helping and we are adding value to society. I think these are quite important if you want to motivate people beyond the salary. And then there's what I said about the culture, about flexibility or not at work. You can work from anywhere or not. You have to come to the office. I think there are a lot of trade-offs in what you offer that is non-monetary, um, that has a big impact on people, and it comes back to what we were talking about the culture, which is if you have if you're very clear that you need to see people in the office, then make it clear, and then you will have people that fit that profile, that care about this. But it's very important to be crystal clear about this and not move too much. I've seen it before, errors of companies being, yeah, let's hire lots of people that can work from anywhere. And then suddenly they're like, well, the culture now is going to be that you have to come to the office, a few days a week. And it's not the same profile of people, like conceptually. Then it breaks the culture because people don't understand anymore where they're working at.
Very well said, Mr. Tristan. So, a company culture is no longer an afterthought. It is a tradition. strategic asset. How do you intentionally build a resilient, adaptive culture in a remote or hybrid environment where you can't rely on osmosis?
Uh, it's quite difficult. I think from you need to think it carefully. Being a business where you see people all the time, you can have informal chats. You have a very different dynamic. It's not just about having exactly the same dynamic and doing it digitally. Um, the mechanisms are going to be different. You're going to lose some things. You're going to gain some other things. Um, Asynchronous work becomes much more important. Um, but but yeah, I mean, if I look back in my first few years when I was working in an office 5 days a week and getting all this touch with people and this informal discussions that um, right now I don't need because my work is very different. But if you get started, it is kind of things are quite important. Um, and it's hard to replicate in a digital environment, in a fully digital environment. Um, Again, it's a trade-off that you're making. You gain a lot by not having an office, and you lose a lot in this kind of connections between people.
Indeed. So let's talk about the operational nerve system, agility, and integrity, Mr. Tristan. Move fast and break things has evolved. How do you balance the need for speed and agility with the imperative for ethical rigor, security, and operational resilience, especially when every mistake can be amplified?
Hmm. Um, my solution here is to spend time to plan, not jump on things, and especially think carefully about how you do something, you scale that thing, you move up. So that's important. Um, at the same time, um, I recommend trying to limit the scope at first. Try to keep it simple, keeping it under a scope that is manageable and not too risky. So as you were saying, not to go a big bang thing where you expose yourself to a lot of risk. So keeping it small and simple, learn over, but trying to go fast to market, for instance, or fast live. Try to build a mechanism where you learn over time and you expand the scope so that it becomes bigger, and you get the live learnings. Because otherwise, I think you have both sides of the spectrum where you spend too much time planning something, and eventually when you go live, it's too late, and you go too fast and you cut corners, and then ultimately it bites you back. And I think it's trying to find the the middle ground where you do go fast, but in a controlled manner. Um, Understanding the risks, understanding all the parameters as you move, and pivoting and adapting and learning very fast so that you can stop if something goes wrong very fast, or you continue and you build over time.
Learning very fast, that's what we like. The modern tech officers incredible power, but also complexity and cost. Mr. Tristan, what is your philosophy on building a lean, effective operational backbone without getting bogged down into a tool chasing or over engineering?
um, there is a tendency right now, especially with AI tools, of the new shiny thing and people chasing, oh well, I've seen this tool and I've seen this one and I've seen this one. um, and then you get scattered attention because you still do need integration between tools, and I think right now that there is, in my view, often talks about processes and people and what we do rather than the tool itself. I think tools can do whatever we want, and right now you have the ability to do everything and anything and build things that are very powerful very quickly. It goes back to, okay, but why are we doing this? Where is the data gonna live and why? Should we have this discussion on this tool or on this tool? And why do we have it here and not here? Um, and it becomes discussions much more about processes and people rather than technology or tool or the tools themselves, which are, in my view, not the most important. In the end, you could build a very decent business using uh, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel and emails, and it could run well, and it's just processes. And then you add many more tools, um, and that's a risk. I see many entrepreneurs getting bogged down into adding tools and layers and complexity to the business where it shouldn't be, and they could do everything with a couple of platforms, and that's it.
Well said, Mr. Tristan. And looking back on your journey, what is the one piece of conventional business advice you found to be completely wrong for the world we were in now, and what did you replace with?
Um, what is an advice? Well, more than an advice, one thing that I've seen a lot and I came to realize that it's completely wrong is the importance of the idea in entrepreneurship, in the sense, oh well, you had a great idea and then you built a business, or well, you know, what if you have an idea of a business and then it makes you rich? And I came to realize, and this is also the focus of my PhD research, that an idea is worth nothing. Is that it's, you can have a great idea, doesn't mean anything. Like what really turns an idea into a great business is what the entrepreneur does with this idea. So if you take two people, same idea, doesn't mean they're gonna have the same outcome. And someone can have a great idea, or someone can have a mediocre idea. If the person that has a mediocre idea is really good, is a good entrepreneur, good at executing the idea and developing it in a business, it will turn into a successful business. Whereas you can have a great idea, if you don't have the skills to turn that idea into something, you don't have access to capital, you don't understand how to build a business, then it's worth nothing. And I think it's a lazy approach to entrepreneurship to think that what matters is the idea. Tomorrow I'll wake up, I'll have a great idea, and I'll become a millionaire. This is a lazy approach to entrepreneurship, whereas the reality is that you'll have an idea, sure, but then what matters is what is everything that comes after. Um, and I think that it's this kind of generation of Instagram entrepreneurs that, oh yeah, I had an idea, and then a month later I had a multi-million business, and people believe it's true, and it's all all wrong and fake. So I would say this is the one thing I came to realize was completely untrue, completely wrong um, over time.
Very well said, Mr. Tristan. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season too, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 in sixth season as well. Geography 101, love letters. Movie 101, review. Music 101. It's fifth season. Science 101, sex 101. And it's fourth season. Trivia 101, law 101, mental health 101, motivation 101, entrepreneurship 101. Of course, my Bible verses 101 on my baby podcast. And so can you please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So Mr. Tristan, finally for the listeners or listeners, yes, with the spark of an idea, feeling both inspired and terrified, knowing what you know, what is the single most important piece of wisdom you would give them about the first step, not about building a product, but building a company?
Um, I'd say what I said before, which is get started, test the idea at small scale, test that it's actually people want it. Start as a side business. Try to see if people want your idea or not. And then if there is validation, then go for it. But it's a tough journey, so know that it's going to be an uphill battle for many months and years. And if you're not ready for that, then stay put. That's what I would say.
Oh, go for it and stop procrastinating. If you have the passion, please, well, share to the world. So, Mr. Tristan, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever you want to promote on Entrepreneurship 101?
Yeah, if you ever need mentoring or feedback on a business idea, just reach out to me on LinkedIn or via Stridewy, and I'll be happy to just give you an indication on what to do next. No strings attached.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Tristan Pelloux, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering business will fly. So, Mr. Tristan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
What do you got, people? See you